Hey everybody, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Stellaris Overlord, Episode 4.
New technology discovered.
Alright, Research AI. So this Research AI you'll find as a modifier on your total research, and I'll show you that in a second. The next research project I'm going to queue up is going to be additional research from researchers. So the Research AI is here. The amount of research that I make per month at base is 30.3, but with all the modifiers that I have, the Materialist, the Admin AI that I just unlocked, the Spark of Genius, and the Scientist skill, I get 37.357, which can be seen here as the base, and what I actually produce. So what I actually produce is more like 43, 46, and 46, but 30% of that immediately goes to my Overlord, leaving me with the 37 that I get. So that Research AI that I just unlocked helps not only physics research, but also, as you can see, societal and engineering as well.
Construction online.
Special project completed at Backtrack. So Backtrack just added additional resources where the giant skeleton was of engineering and societal research. And then this scientist here is going to go research the anomaly at Talar the Storm, while Big C Panda heads up to Devasa. I want to try to annex as much of the territory between me and whoever these Upsilons are before they take it. You know, it's kind of a rush, because after they take it, then I have to go to war with them to take it back. It's better just to have it ahead of time. And I'm not really worrying about going south because this Marauder is blocking anyone from coming at me from the south. It's a nice bottleneck. Oh, and here we go. So the Upsilon aliens. A mixture of threatening booming noises, what sounds like the grinding of a metal on metal, continued abated for several minutes, punctuated by the occasionally by howling noise. So essentially what's happening here is we're trying to make first contact with them. And they're signaling that they're probably hostile, right? They've tried to abduct my scientist, and they're growling and howling at me and grinding metal. And I have three choices to be made here, and I'm going to have you vote on that. One, the challenge is not returned. I don't try to send the same sort of aggressive posturing that they've sent me. It means that my citizens become less happy for 15 years at minus 5%, but my first contact skill goes up. So it's prioritizing contacting new species, new civilizations at the cost of my civilian happiness. Or it's a challenge, send threatening noises back. It's impossible to predict exactly how the Upsilon aliens will react to me growling and howling back at them, but that's option number 2. Option number 3 is straight up prepare for war. What that would do is for the next 15 years, it would have people attracted to a militarist ethics, which means that I might get some militarist factions. So I don't have any factions yet, but right now, about 65% of my population believe in egalitarianism and 35% in materialism. And if I chose option number 3, militarist would start to go up a little bit, which might be good, might not be good. It really depends on the direction of the empire here. So that is the 3 options here. And looks like you're trying for a 3-way tie. I'll leave you just 1 more minute to vote on this, and I'll read the rest of it. Just as Envoy Galdrig Den Polach thought the noises had died down, they started up again, louder than before. With a wince, she switched the receiver off. She turned to the gathered crowd of officers, some of whom were cowering behind their seats. Well, that was quite something, she said weakly. It is hard to imagine that a species making the noises we have picked up from the Upsilon aliens could be anything other than hostile. Naval officers already fear the worst and assume that we are going to be at war with them. But calmer heads suggest that we be better off waiting and seeing. All right. Seems to me like we're going the militaristic approach, preparing for war. So that was chapter 3. We still haven't made first contact with them, but here you'll see war preparations. For 5,399 days, we build ships faster, and militarist ethics are more attractive. So if we go back to factions here, already 8% of our population embraces militarism, 26% to materialism, and 52% to egalitarianism. 2% to xenophile, 0% to xenophobe, 0% to authoritarianism, 5% to pacifist, and 2% to spiritualist. Oh. So now our leaders level up faster and have our higher level cap. And one more tradition in 51 months or so, I'll be able to complete the discovery tree.
New technology discovered.
Okay, my leader is getting reelected. We are 10 years into the game, and I am making more than 20 energy credits per month, which means that I will fulfill this mandate and gain 6 months of unity. And right now, the next leader is being elected. I can either have a free and open election, or I can spend unity to meddle in the election. I actually don't have unity right now, but I could try to select the leader if I had the unity. It looks as if it's pretty equal. The candidate support is like a almost 4-way tie. And I'm going to leave the election alone. In 85 days, the election will end. And I finished soil remediation. So soil remediation will allow me to fix some of the tile blockers on Sylvanti Prime. And let's pick a next one. I'm going to do genome mapping, which increases the speed at which my population reproduces, allowing me to have more people to do more work. I'm also going to take a look at no more leaders I want to recruit. That's too bad. So for soil remediation, if we go over to Sylvanti Prime and go to features, here as you can see, there is a quicksand basin, which if I spend 500 energy credits and about half a year to fix, will allow me to build one more generator district. So if you see here in these boxes, 3 of these generator district boxes are empty, and then 1 is shaded out. That shaded out one is blocked by the quicksand basin. Basically, I can turn that quicksand into not quicksand and then build generators on it. Which, yeah, let me do. Sylvanti's anchorages have added 2 additional naval capacity. And as soon as... Oh, I can already do it. I can do it in a minute. As soon as the second anchorage is built, I will build more ships for more power projection. We also just finished off exploring the Grunir ruins, and it begins the precursor event, the Bowel event chain, where I have to look into the former colony.
Situation log updated.
All right. Instead of doing that right now, I'm going to excavate at Gusius 5, which is a giant gas structure. And then finishing that off gives me 5 more of the, what are they called? The relics or whatever. I'm blanking on their specific terminology. God, what menu is that in? Yeah, relics or artifacts. So I have a total of 10 artifacts, and I can sell the artifacts to private collectors for 1 artifact netting me 500 energy credits. I can celebrate diversity with these, which generates unity and triggers xenophile ethics extraction. Or I can put it on display on specific planets. So if I want to do that, it'd be down here. I could send it to a museum for an exhibit, which increases the output of the bureaucrats that work on that planet. Bureaucrats as you can see, produce unity at the cost of food and consumer goods. So this anchorage is 666 days out from being built. The economics mandate has been fulfilled, so I gained some unity there. And a new ruler has been reelected, and actually we just reelected Yoda again. Good job, dude. You got elected. So the new mandate that I have to look at is Urbanizer. Build 2 districts. I'll probably build 1 on each planet, but it looks like I'm going to need to employ some people on Yoda Prime pretty soon. So taking a look at my resources up here, I'm going to build an industrial district, which makes a little bit of consumer goods and a little bit of alloys, because my consumer goods are the lowest compared to all my other resources. Signs of battle.
Situation log updated.
So, Tannering found signs of battle here, and I'm going to complete that anomaly with him now. How about another little bonus for re-election? Good job, dude. And let's go ahead and build some corvettes as well. So 2 more corvettes coming out to take advantage of the anchorage that is now built,
online.
Increasing our ship cap up to 19. So I need even 1 more to fill it out completely. And the reason for this, again, is power projection, to gain more influence. And right now I am annexing Devasa. And see here how the trade value is being exploited at Gloas? That indicates that whoever the Upsilon aliens are, they have annexed Gloas. So now, right now we're rushing to try to get to Bediza. But if I end up just getting Devasa, that's fine. I would like Bediza, but in either case, I can always either subjugate them or conquer them to take their territory or make them a vassal of mine. I'm pretty boxed in at the start. I have Marauders down here, my Overlord up here, and a neighbor here. So I have very little space to grow into.
Construction online.
But that doesn't discourage me. Okay. That was a special event where we just got a whole bunch of insights, but it hasn't finished stage 4. Stage 4 would be fully contacting whoever the Upsilons are. We're heading towards it, but we're not quite done yet. Oh, and here I see that they are sending a science vessel, I think this is, to analyze Bediza. So I'm going to send my navy there to kick out their science vessel if I can. No, I think they're annexing this. This is a construction vessel, not a science vessel. They must have already surveyed it. So I'm going to try to interrupt their construction vessel from adding this to their territory.
Research project concluded.
So this researcher here is going to analyze the anomalies in Big Sea Panda and Devasa. Oh, Devasa needs a name. It's going to be Spicy Jazz. Not V. There we go.
Construction online.
And I have fully made first contact with the Upsilon, and they are
diplomatic connection established.
Fanatical purifiers. They look like monkeys. And they're fanatically xenophobic and militaristic. So I'm going to say, hey, we're coming for you. Now, the problem with Fanatical purifiers is they typically have really large navies, but I'm going to declare them my rival. But know that they're likely going to get a Badiza, so I'm going to turn back right now, because now that we've made full contact, what that means is I have to declare war on them to be able to destroy their ships. And I really don't know how strong they are. It's unknown to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a spy network to spy on them with one of my envoys, so that I can figure out how strong they are and how to counter them. Another thing that I might be able to do is to amass some alloys here to build a space station here in Spicy Jazz to keep them out. So there we go. We see the bubble of their influence, but that's all that we see so far. So now I'm pinned in by Marauders, Fanatical Purifiers, which can never be reasoned with, and I can only try to fully conquer, and my Overlord. So it's a, I would say, really terrible start. Really atrociously bad.
New technology discovered.
Powered exoskeletons is done. And let's go with robot assembly plants. So the reason I'm going to pick robotic workers is because we are materialist, we want robots and synthetics in our empire. So this is going to make my materialists in my empire more happy, and therefore yield more unity when those factions start to form. Oh, and factions are forming now. So the first two factions that I have here, one is an egalitarian faction that I'm just going to call egalitarian faction, and the other is the materialist faction. The egalitarian faction is happy because I am anti-autocratic, I have free movement, I have reproductive freedoms, and I don't have a stratified economy. And they produce 11.47 unity per month. The materialist faction is a little upset because I haven't signed 3 research treaties with neighbors of mine, but I have allowed AI, so at least I have a little bit of approval, and you can see the approval numbers here. The higher the approval, and the more the people believe in that faction, the more unity you get. So because I have 75 and 18, I get 12, 59 and 9, I get 5. Resolving their issues makes them happy. I am not going to be signing research pacts with any of these guys, but if I end up meeting other aliens, perhaps I can sign research pacts with them. One way to meet aliens is to talk to my Overlord and offer a trade deal. And I want to offer up communications for communications so that everybody I've met and everybody they've met have been exchanged. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to spice the pot here because there's a -4 acceptance. Oh man, they're being fussy. Let me try spicing the pot with alloys. There we go. So I can spend pretty much all of my alloys to get their comms data. Maybe it's worth it, maybe it's not. Okay, here we go. So, they have agreed to that trade. And I have met some people. So I've met the Prost Knock-On, who are fanatically authoritarian, which flies in the face of my own beliefs. So I'm going to say, you must throw away your old ways. Then I've also met the Hantak, fanatic militarist and materialist, and I'm going to greet them with cooperation because they're materialistic, and I'm not a pacifist, so being a militarist doesn't really offend me. And they are now located here and here. Now, the Prost Knock-On, there's one more thing I could do to them, which is to harm relations with one of my envoys, and then declare them rivals. Because they're authoritarians, and because I'm egalitarian, they are now rivals of my empire. And every rival that you claim gives you 0.5 influence. It can actually vary depending on the type of governance you have. So now that I've declared 2 rivals, I get 1 additional influence per month from my rivalries and 1.2 influence per month for my power projection. So I'm becoming more influential, which will allow me to annex the remaining territory in my realm. And the Prosnakan closed their borders to me. No surprise. So all that's really left is to survey these 2 systems here, add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to my empire, and then see if I can't snake past the Marauders to start adding the Weeping Ghost Nebula's stuff to my system as well.
Situation log updated.
So, right now, this scientist just finished the anomaly here at Big Sea Panda 3, and it created a deep sea expedition. If I want to do this deep sea expedition before I go up to this other anomaly which I had queued up, the way to do this is to hold left control, left shift, right click, and research. And what it does is it prioritizes this now over what was previously queued up, so that I don't have to redo the queue. I can now research the deep sea expedition and then eventually go out to this anomaly next. Alright, at Spicy Jazz, I'm going to build a starport. I'm building a starport on the border of my empire so that it's harder for the Evandari eradicators to invade me. But I still don't really know anything about them because I'm still building up a spy network to obtain information about their empire. So their strength, research, and trade value is unknown.
Research project concluded.
Alright, this surveyor is going to go down to the last 2 systems that I need to survey. And then Backtrack just created another archaeological site that I'll be able to analyze if I add that to my empire. Did they destroy my construction ship? So no. What ended up happening was my construction ship was in Bediza in order to try to build a space station, and I had formalized contact with them, which meant that they expelled my construction ship from their territory to be automatically sent home to Yoda Prime, and it is out of action for another 3 months. But it will show up at Yoda Prime in 3 months' time, which is why I haven't built another one.
Research project concluded.
Ooh, living metal. Nice. Ooh, that's very nice. So the research project here, the ancient battle damage, revealed living metal, which is an advanced strategic resource which allows you to repair your ships automatically. The odd factory on Savanti Prime, yeah, no reports of problems have been issued yet. So this next Corvette maxes out my naval capacity, but I do plan on building, this should be Spicy Jazz Bastion. Or actually this will be an anchorage. At the Spicy Jazz anchorage, that will add additional fleet capacity there as well. Hello? Alright. The Gas Giant, we have completed Chapter 1. Heading on to Chapter 2, and I got 1 minor artifact. The presence of dark and lifeless interior of the space station almost succeeds in hiding the fact that it must have been designed as some kind of luxurious pleasure palace. There are seemingly endless rows of rusty slot machines, hundreds of decrepit bars and restaurants, and amidst it all, thousands of bodies. Dead, partially mummified aliens of at least a dozen different species can be found everywhere, but most of the bodies are clustered around the empty escape pod bays. FTL impact. So the Spicy Jazz research was an FTL impact, which just gives me some physics research, and then this researcher, Tannering, is going to go analyze the anomalies of Lambda Serpentis and Muse. The reason I'm sending him over there is he is a higher level. He's level 5, which means that he is going to be able to analyze the harder, more difficult anomalies more easily than, let's say, a level 3 or a level 3. My thoughts on Overlord so far? I really like it. It dramatically changes the way that you can start. The new origins are really cool. And then also the subjugation system, which was long needing overhaul, got finally overhauled. So that's definitely a big plus. I just finished the Faith in Science, which reduces my researcher upkeep. So if I take a look here, the upkeep for my researchers, well, it hasn't updated yet, but it will be lower than 2 Unity per month, which helps out a lot. And then that also unlocks the first Ascension perk, which I'm going to let you guys choose. So some of the obvious ones would be Tech Ascendancy. So Tech Ascendancy here increases your base research by 10%, and then also allows rare technologies to appear more often, so that you can get specialized technology as options for when you're offered a subset of options. One Vision would be another obvious one. One Vision increases your monthly Unity by 10%, reduces the amount of amenities that your population uses by 10%, and then encourages people to believe in your governing ethics. Mine happen to be fanatic egalitarianism and regular materialism. So this helps. What this ends up doing is it helps to encourage people to join the factions that represent your government, which then in turn drives up your unity. Some other ones. So this one is new. Some say war is bad for business, but war is our business. Our mercenaries thrive in an embattled galaxy, and through them, so will we. So what this allows you to do is to set up mercenary enclaves. This is probably best triggered later on when I start to have bulwark vassals. So I'm going to leave that off as an option, but I just wanted to say that that's one of the new Ascension perks that are offered now. Then another one that could be a good choice would be Executive Vigor. Sort of a good choice, which increases the Edicts Fund by 100, which what that would allow me to do is it would allow me to activate something like research subsidies, which increases the researcher output, but also it makes the researchers paid more. And it just increases the max of your Edicts Fund. Edicts Fund max can go up through research later on in the game, so what that perk does, it kind of gives you a jump start on that. But eventually it becomes less beneficial as the game goes on because you end up with more and more Unity and a higher Edict Fund. The other one that I'm going to include here is Transcendent Learning. So Transcendent Learning allows your leaders to level up faster and raises their cap. Powerful leaders can lead to powerful empires. And those are the 4 that I'm going to include on this poll. So bing, there you go. What do you think I should get? Tech Ascendancy for research rate, One Vision for Unity, Executive Vigor for Edict Cap, or Transcendent Learning for stronger leaders. The vassal negotiation is bugged at the moment. I haven't actually really experienced it to be bugged, but I have only a limited amount of time playing Overlord since it came out. Well, all that I've used it so far, it has been fine. So what I'm doing over here is I'm heading back to Phonak to annex Phonak into my territory. That way I can open up my my borders to the Prince Electorate of the Melmanoxans, or whatever they're called, allowing me to go to the last 2 probe sites, which have been blocked to me for a while now.
Construction online.
Spicy Jazz is done. I'll build an anchorage here, and then once I have the alloys, I'll also build a gun battery, protecting my border a little bit better. Oh, I've also leveled up to level 2 of the Scholarium specialization, which is kind of a big deal. So what that does, if we read it, research points in cache gone up. Now, I actually haven't gotten any research caches, which is just bad luck, honestly. My science, all of my researchers in my empire can get special traits randomly. One gives additional research speed, one gives additional survey speed, and the other gives additional anomaly research and discovery chance. And then lastly, the leaders in the pool are leveled up. So when I recruit a new scientist, they're immediately leveled up, which is pretty cool. So that is the activation of level 2, and I also gain additional monthly science research. So if we take a look here on my, where is it? You can see my science rate has gone up. So let's take a look at these leaders. Big C Panda, who was previously doing engineering research, got Scholarium Investigator. So his research speed has gone up, which is great. Tannering, who's been my surveyor and anomaly researcher, got anomaly research speed, which is awesome. My surveyor, my drug-addicted surveyor, got research speed, which could be useful. Fugel 6 got survey speed, which is kind of useless because there's almost nothing left to survey. My Sasato researcher also got research speed, which is great. And then I am Nick the Good, got Scholarium, observer, which is kind of unfortunate. But in the end, you already had Spark of Genius, and basically the two new ones are kind of a Spark of Genius, which increases the raid I research for everybody pretty effectively. And then also, one of the things that you can look at is for people to potentially recruit, you can see what their extra trait is so that you can hire some really good researchers, but I don't have the Unity for that right now. You all voted on Tech Ascendancy, so let me go grab that. So with Tech Ascendancy, if we look over here, you can see Technological Ascendancy plus 10%. So even more research. And then if you're wondering how we leveled that up, let me cover that real quick. So you level up by gaining experience based upon the amount of loyalty that you build up per month. So I haven't really been particularly disloyal because I'm trying to build up my strength to finally betray the Holy Storm Rider and Empire. And as a result, I'm actually, in the short term, benefiting from my lack of betrayal by leveling up the Specialization tier so that I can, get stronger. But the problem is, now that I've leveled up again, my naval capacity has been wrecked further. So here, as you can see, my naval capacity has dropped, and that means Spicy Jazz, who was originally making a anchorage and a gun battery, is going to make 2 anchorages to offset the fact that I've just lost additional naval capacity from leveling up my my specialty level. It happens. And if I wanted to negotiate the terms of that, I would have to, I'd have to betray them and end the agreement to level back down. So Yoda Prime only has 1 open job, and someone new will be born, or a new bracket of population will be born in 30 months. So I might want to think about adding some additional work here. What is my mandate? To build districts. So let's actually build 2 districts just to fulfill the mandate. So I'm going to build 1 district here. And then as soon as I have the materials, I'll build a district on Sylvanti Prime as well, making sure that I get the mandated 2 district minimum. When I leave them, do I keep my specialist bonuses? Yes. But new researchers hired out will not have them. So they're permanent traits, but the total benefit does go away. My archaeologist stumbled upon ill-fated previous expedition on Gusius 5 that perished long ago. Several minor artifacts have been recovered from their desiccated remains. Quite a lot of artifacts. So, We're off to Chapter 2 of the giant gas structure, which is like a casino of sorts. Now that I'm building the Phonak starbase, I'm going to open up my borders again with the Prince Electorate here, because there's no possible way for them to snipe Phonak from me, but that also means that I'm going to have Phonak to give away, so you got like a minute or two on that. So if you're a subscriber of mine and you want
new technology
something named
discovered.
after you, now's your chance. I just researched, physics research from researchers has gone up, so the amount of physics research I get per month should have gone up. And then also for society, the pop growth speed. So we had just mentioned, by chance, that my population would take roughly 30 months to complete, and it's been like 1 month, and now it's down, because of genome mapping, to grow even faster. So let's pick new researches. For physics research, I will go with miniaturization containment fields for more output from my stations. And for societal, I will go with biodiversity studies for more society research from our researchers. Basically just reinvesting in researching faster. And Chromatism, thank you for the follow. And Honey Badger, thank you for the resub. Although that was long ago. I apologize, I only just noticed now. Unusual tectonics at Serpentis. So there we go. Lambda Serpentis got some extra research there. And then
Construction
Tannering
online.
is going to go down to Muse, while
System
Taisato
charted.
surveys that last system there. There we go. Here's Phonak, and that is going to be raffled off to not Spicy Jazz, because you already have a system. Let's re-roll that. Maxu Finn. Congrats, Maxu. Here in this empty building slot, I'm going to put the Autochthonic Monument, which will produce a little bit of unity for me. It doesn't require anyone to work. Oh boy. Get out of Zempek. Okay, so Zempek has what is called a Leviathan. A Leviathan is a massive, like, eldritch creature. And this one is a huge dragon. And Taisato here, despite the fact that he was a substance abuser, might not live till tomorrow. Really depends on whether he
We
jumps.
lost a research vessel.
He died. Yeah. So, Zempek has an Ether Drake. An Ether Drake is something that I'm not going to be able to destroy for a good long time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trigger this system as not as restricted, meaning that we never enter there no matter what. So as you can see, the system is now red, and it's designated as a avoid at all costs, so that I can't accidentally stumble in there anymore. We have now found beings far surpassed anything encountered in our Empire's spacefaring history. Life capable of growing to an unprecedented scale, rivaling moons in size and mass. Nothing could have prepared us for this. This day will forever mark a turning point in the story of the democratic Yoda Commonwealth. Let us hope we survive long enough to tell it. Big Dragon got me
Construction online.
all chewed up. So the dimensional disturbance here in Muse is almost resolved. And it was a false pocket, which only means that the researcher gained a little bit of experience. Okay. Tannering, you're going to head to the probe event now. It's going to take you a while to get there, but there's really nothing left to be done down here, unless I add backtrack to my territory. Oh, Dimensional Drift. The missing members of the crew thought lost to Dimensional Rift have reappeared. And I can say, gain a extra science ship from it. So now I have an extra science ship just sitting here, doing nothing. This science ship, I believe, has some benefits to the default one. So I'm going to fire Tannering out of this science ship and put him in the new one, which doesn't really change much. And then this science ship here, I'm going to actually send out to start exploring as well. It's empty, but I can still order it around. It just can't do any discoveries or explorations. But it allows me to switch between science ships
online.
to somewhat teleport my science leaders. It doesn't make much sense, but, you know, them's the game mechanics. So what I mean by that is, because I have two science ships, I can, like, have one science ship here and one science ship up here, and I can just switch the leaders between the two and just, you know, do science on either ends of the galaxy without having to have two different scientists. Kind of nice. So my naval capacity is up to 21. My fleet capacity is up to 20, so I need one more ship to fill up that fleet. So let's get that last ship now. Laura the Noob. Rolling out. We almost have robot assembly plants, which would be a very good building to replace one of the buildings in here, so that we can start building robots to make our materialists happy. How's the spy networker going on? That's a good question. We have very little information, but what I could try to do is spend some of my influence to gather information. I'm probably going to do that after I fully annex all the territories that I want to annex, though, because it costs me influence. So my envoy here is just passively collecting information at a maximum level of 50.
Construction online.
And now my fleet is maxed out. And that allows me to have a projection of 1.18 and a rivalry for 1. So that's 5 influence a month, which is pretty good. I just don't have anywhere to use it because I basically have nothing left to explore. What I could actually do with that other other science ship that's empty is try to sneak it past the Marauders.
New technology discovered.
Robot assembly plants is done. So the living metal mega construction is offered because of the special project that happened at Pixie Panda. But as you can see, the cost of this is so expensive it would take 646 months to complete, which is ridiculous. So instead, I'm going to spend the time getting better armor and better guns because the cost of these projects are a tiny fraction. And I will return to that mega project sometime down the line when I have more research, engineering research produced per month. So here in this new building slot, I did mention, what do I want to build here? The robot assembly plant. So I'm going to save up for the robot assembly plant. Actually, I'm not going to save up. I'm just going to buy it now. I'm impatient. And that will allow me to organically grow the population of the Yodas, but also assemble my own robots. And that will keep the materialists happy here once they realize that I'm starting to build robots. Otherwise, they get synth envy and they become upset. So the gas stack structure. This derelict station was once known as the Star Petal, and it was apparently a celebrated luxury resort in this corner of the galaxy nearly 1,000 years ago. A small fleet of tugs would drag the station to new exotic locations each year, but Gusius 5 appears to have been less. For unclear reasons, the station was put into a gas giant's atmosphere where it suffered critical damage. You've been watching Stellaris Overlord, which originally streamed live on Twitch May 17th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. Thank you so very much for watching. A special thank you to all my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel. I'll catch you in next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, everybody.